All right, so what are we trying to figure out here? What are we trying to figure out in the last fucking case of this video game? What are we trying to figure out here? We are trying to figure out, one, who is the real professor, and two, how are we gonna pin this whole fucking thing on Strongheart? Okay, so item one. Well, actually, let's just go over a few of the connections we have here. Oh, hi, Abby. So a few of the connections we have here. We have Genshin, whose autopsy, obviously Cosmo's dad, who's came to London with Eugen, Seishiro, and, Eugen and Seishiro. And then he gets blamed for being the professor. And the professor's killings subsequently stop when he kills, when he is arrested for killing Mr. Pussy Poppin' Klimt Van Zeeks over here. So, but when he is incarcerated, somebody helps him escape. They said that the, Caden over here said that it was, oh god, now I need to put it lower. Caden over here says that it was, Mr. Daily Vigil who helped him escape, and his executioner. We don't have a name for the executioner. However, I think that it might have been a great friend of this man, Dr. John H. Wilson, because he's the one who did Clint's autopsy, and whatever they found in Clint's autopsy led them to Genshin, who we know is not the real killer, because why would he be? What else? Then what's the mystery? But, and here's the twist. So, okay, sorry. Let me get to the twist later. So Genshin is not the real professor. We know that. But his autopsy is done by Courtney Scythe, and she, I guess she isn't blamed for not realizing that he's not dead, which I don't understand how they might have done that. I still think Juliet theory, but you know, but I guess there are other ways to fake death that would fool an experienced coroner. I guess maybe the professor case was her first big one. But anyways, so she, at this time is now in jail for killing, Odie Asman, and she's not allowed any visitors. Because apparently, I guess she knows something. She knows something, probably about the professor case. What else? I was going somewhere. Oh, yeah. And so, speaking of autopsies, Jean H. Wilson. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yes, she did the press host. I already talked about that. Yes, speaking of autopsies, Miss Iris Wilson. She read the autopsy that Eugen and Wilson did together, and thought that Wilson was her dad, but actually, based on the writing of the stories in the trunk, when really Mr. Him wrote the autopsy and the stories in the trunk. Therefore, he is her papa and Herlock Sholmes's fucking partner. So anyways, so that's just kind of establishing facts we already know. But so I'm thinking, okay, so if we know that this whole gang was really upset about Genshin being sort of incarcerated as the professor, because they know he's not the professor, I thought, well, maybe one of these two then, if they know it's not him. But why would the government go through so much trouble to frame Eugen if it was just another Japanese person? Because they're not gonna, I don't think they would frame Genshin unless he was the most convenient person to frame for the whole thing, because he actually killed the professor, and the killing stopped with the person that Genshin did kill, because he says, I'm guilty of the crime of taking another human's life. He said, so I leads me to believe he killed one person for real. He killed one person for real, and I think that person was the professor. And so then I'm like, okay, so he, like, maybe, and this was when I thought maybe John Wilson was evil, so I'm like, okay, maybe John Wilson is the professor, and he framed Genshin for the whole thing because he did Clint's autopsy report, and whatever they found in Clint's autopsy report pointed them to the professor, or pointed them to Genshin. But what if he was not framed for that killing, and he did also kill the professor? That's right, Clint Van Zieks' pussy poppin' party animal pussy kills people. Sorry, Jet, I'm sorry if I hurt your ears. So, no, I'm not gonna theorize this much about SOJ in the last case, no. And also,
I just hear pussy popping very loudly.
I'm sorry.
And then like a small apology. I'm just like, okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, so if he is the professor, that makes a lot of sense, because the professor, I have here on a little note card, well, my note says, has to be British, because why would they frame Genshin for the crimes of a different Japanese person? Like, why would they go through the trouble? Has to be an affluent British person, because the caller here, this fucking caller, is clearly, I mean, I'm thinking it's B for Baskervilles, Hound of the Baskervilles. So it's got to be someone who lives on the Baskerville estate, who's incredibly affluent and rich and important, and they would not risk incarcerating Genshin and causing an international incident, hence the whole mask thing, if it was just a random lower class person who hated the aristocracy. No. It's a rich, affluent guy who was a little bit based. And also, when I was looking at this, I didn't realize this until a little bit later, and I wish I had a picture of Clint, this, like, portrait of him, because if you look at his, like, you can see it a teeny little bit at the bottom there, but if you, see his, like, brooch, his like, I'm guessing it's like his family crest, because Clint, Grumpy McFuckerson over here has the same one. It's also on the top of the collar right here. I'm so mad I can't zoom in, but it's there. It's like the same, unless my eyes are deceiving me, but it looks like the exact same thing. So that was one of the big ones. The other one is that, wait, Avi, what did you send? Yeah. Please post pictures of this murder board on the server later. Okay, fine. So we've got, oh my god, this plant's gonna fall. Okay. Yes, okay, and then we also have Ms. Asa Shin up here. So we have, she's an assassin, obviously. She takes orders from Gregson that we learned from Grumpy McFuck. So we know that she was part of the Reaper. And she killed John Wilson. I don't know why, but I'm assuming that the Reaper, Mr. Gregson here, takes orders from the big bad who we're gonna pin all of it on, and, you know, tells him where to go, what to do, who to kill, and then Gregson just kind of organizes that whole thing, tells Asa Shin who to kill, and, like, where to do it, how to do it, whatever. And so I'm thinking that either there are two potential people she could have killed. There is this person, there is an unknown sender of the letter that made Kazuma realize that his father was framed for murder. And he says, I imagine the government took care of that person rather quickly. And so I'm thinking maybe she killed that person. And I also think that she was the one who killed Genshin coming out of the grave. Which would make the landslide not the first victim of the Reaper. It would make Genshin the first victim of the Reaper. Which makes sense as to why Kazuma, baby boy, the guppy, why the guppy wants Grumpy shithead in jail, why he wants him put away. And so in his, okay, that's the other thing. I think that he might be getting a little bit desperate. I think he might be getting a little, oh, the Maddie-licious, thank you for following, welcome. I think he might be getting just a teeny bit desperate because he was clearly willing to mind break a man to get his answers about his father. And so I think that he's going to do something very desperate in the future. I think he might forge evidence because he prosecuted the trial of Genshin. And he wasn't supposed to. He begged Strongheart to let him prosecute instead so he could avenge his brother's murder. So I think that Strongheart was in his ear, like feeding him false information, feeding him false evidence, like falsified evidence. And so Mr. Man over here is like, well, if you got my dad with false evidence, I'm gonna get you with falsified evidence, and you're gonna go away forever. How do you like being, fucking put away for a crime you didn't do? And so, yeah, so, and I think I have a little, it's tentative, because I'm trying to figure out what connects all the people on the disc, right? The music box disc. So, as we know now, Asashin is a covert agent, Gregson's a covert agent. And I don't know, this is the thing, like, John Wilson is what's fucking me up. Yes, it is very dangerously pointy in the back. I have almost stabbed myself a couple times. Where was I? Right. Okay, so I'm thinking, we can't connect John right now, but I'm thinking, like, is Kazuma, because I had this thought early on that maybe Kazuma was being sent not as a law student, but as like a kind of a spy or something, like for Eugen, or like, because Eugen was very insistent that he go. And this was before I knew anything about his father or anything about, so I dropped that theory for a while. I was like, there's no, that he's not there for any other reason besides wanting to figure out what happened to his father. But now I'm like, okay, there's something else fucking going on here, because the disc, all these names are on the disc. And so, I think that maybe he agreed to, like, because, okay, I'm thinking maybe they all, like, he agreed to work for Strongheart as a spy, but he is acting as a double agent right now because his only real goal is to figure out what happened to his dad. So he's like, oh yeah, oh thank you, Bana. I got them a couple weeks ago, done when I went to see Legally Blonde with my mom. So she took me to get acrylics, and I got them bright pink, and now they're kind of overgrown, just a tiny bit, so I'll get them off soon, but thank you. Oh, what was I saying? Fuck. Double agent, he wants to find out what happened to his dad. But I don't know, so like if he's like acting as a spy for Strongheart, then but like totally not fulfilling on that makes sense. So and then, sorry, that was the other thing. So when we went into Strongheart's office that one time after that trial where he mind broke Daily Vigil, he was like, Strongheart said, the trial will proceed as instructed. I didn't think much of it, but then I thought about it. I can't remember that was his exact words, but it was something like that. So now, oh my gosh, Twitch was like, here's a log game stream to watch, and wow, I was not expecting someone this into it. Welcome. Welcome. So yes, so Asogi potentially swindling Strongheart a little bit. Very epic of him. Very sexy of him. Very hot of him. Very, very, very sexalicious of him. Sexualist. Oh yeah, and I think maybe... I can't decide if Genshin got help from Strongheart, if he got help from Caden, or if he got help from Wilson, because Caden is friends with Eugen, right? So, the music has to loop 1 second. Thank you. It kind of would make more sense if he got help, if he didn't get help from Caden, because Caden, let's talk about the Asogi papers. Let's talk about the Asogi papers. Where did my Asogi papers paper go? Did I drop it? It's right here. Okay, so last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. It goes missing. But then Caden is just able to produce it for us later. He's just like, no, they didn't go missing. They were exactly where they should have been. And here they are, and you can have them, but don't talk about them. So I think that he could not find the last will and testament of Genshin Asogi, and just replaced them. And I don't know why he was trying to find it. And I think it's because that's the other thing, lending to the idea that Genshin might have killed the real professor, is because he was not allowed any writing utensils or paper in his cell. So Sato was like, well, maybe so he couldn't leave a written record of what had happened to him, and I think that's true. Always believe Susato, always, every time. So, so they didn't want him recording the true name or identity of the professor. And Genshin describes the Asogi papers as his last weapon, his lifeline. And I don't know what that means. I've been thinking about it, I've been racking my brain, and I don't understand. But what I do want to know is who has it now? Who has the last will and testament of Genshin Asogi, and who helped Caden replicate a new copy, because the new copy is in Japanese. And Caden's like, I don't understand it, unless Eugen taught him some Japanese. And so he does know how to do that. But who's to say? See, that's why I cannot decide which side Caden is on. And Caden was the one to refer to them as the Asogi papers. Everyone else was calling them the last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. So I want to know where they went and who has them, and how they got out. Because, okay, Genshin was allowed all of his personal effects in the prison cell with him, which is weird to me. However, it's possible because, okay, so all of the possessions were to go back to Cosma, right? So I don't know if he hid that within his belongings, but like, wouldn't they have searched them or something? Like, it seems a little weird. And if they're looking for the Asogi papers, why would they not look within his personal stuff? So I don't know. But what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, did Shom steal a baby? Did Shom steal a baby? Or did Eugen say, hey, this is the lady I fucked and she's pregnant, but I have to leave and go back to Japan? And then Herlock was like, can do. I'll keep an eye on that. And then the baby gets abandoned? Iris gets abandoned? Yeah, Shom's voice, whoa, there's a baby in this dumpster. Exactly. So, or I don't know if Shom's like stalked whoever Eugen fucked and like stole Iris? I don't know how that happened. Or she was already born by the time Eugen, Eugen had her with his new item, his new love, his new woman. Jealous ex Shom's canon. Shom's gave birth to Iris. like if Eugen had yet another "my wife died in childbirth." Side note: there's no fucking MILFs in this game besides her. I want to talk to someone about that. Oh right, she spells. Okay, I was looking at her and I was looking at Asa Shin, and I noticed they both have giant hats, and I'm thinking, okay, so Asa Shin hides all her secrets in her giant swan hat. Madame True Spells is definitely hiding something else. We can't be done with the wax. We can't be done with the wax. We cannot be done with the wax. Are you kidding me? She saw the face of Genshin. We can't be done with the wax. So I think she's hiding secrets in her hat about the wax. Oh yeah, and then something happened with him where he was like, wax theory forever, thank you. Something happened with this guy where he stopped prosecuting 5 years ago. And I'm guessing, my guess is that, my guess, what was my guess? My guess was that he stopped prosecuting because he didn't want the name of the attachment not name of attachment, oh my god. Name of the Reaper to be attached to him. My god, okay. So I shouldn't read chat and talk. Stop. So yeah, so I think because he's also been, that's how he knew it was Gregson. So he's got to be, had to have been spending those 5 years researching the Reaper and trying to figure out who it was, because it's not him. But I also am confused on that because he's like, why would I say anything? If it keeps crime low, I'm happy to do my duty and be the Reaper of the Bailey, hated by all of England, blah, blah, blah. You know? So, like, I don't know why he was gonna out Gregson as the Reaper, but whatever. Who didn't I talk about? Oh, right. Sorry. And then we also have to figure out who actually killed Gregson. So, I think because, so, oh, Maddie-licious, no, you're fine. No, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. We're 7:04, we're almost done, it's fine. So, Genshin was, for the Reaper case, was working alongside Gregson. They were working together to solve the Reaper case. So Genshin solves the Reaper case, kills the Reaper. Gregson pins all of the blame, all of the murders, all 5 of them on Genshin. And his friends are pissed about it, especially Seishiro. He broke a table. He broke a table about this shit. So I'm thinking that he knew Gregson through the Dilf Polycule. No, through, do I mean Professor? Sorry, I think I mean Professor. Sorry. When did I say Reaper? I don't know, sorry. So yeah, so he, all of that but Professor. So he's like, how dare you pin the blame on Genshin when you knew him and you knew he wouldn't do that, and you're fucking shady yourself. So you ordered Asa Shin to shoot my friend coming out when we were trying to help him escape. I'll shoot you. And so I think that's where, because Seishiro disappeared as soon as he got to London. He disappeared. He was like, I need to go, and then we did not hear from him again. We have not heard from him since, and so I think he is the one who killed Gregson. What else? I think that might be, oh yeah. We haven't heard about the Russian Revolutionary or the Crystal Tower for a long time. Maybe that'll come back in, I don't know. Oh yes, okay, last thing, and then we'll get into it. So, I have the Professor Part 2. So he kills people with a dog. the collar very clearly has the Baskerville emblem on it. So, and Selden had this collar. Selden has had this collar for like, I don't even know how long, maybe 10 years. So he, so it's everything's been quiet. Everything's been quiet for a while until the collar resurfaces in Soseki's case. And the collar is why okay, after the discovery of the collar, Yujin called Susato back from London because he thought something might hurt her. So I didn't understand why, like what he could have known about that before, but yeah, so Selden stole the collar. Gregson and Sholmes hid the discovery of it. So, what I'm thinking is that someone from like the Baskerville estate who knows that potentially Klimt, probably Clint, was killing people, and so now and they have been wanting to get that collar back because that is a black mark on like their family or their estate or whatever, and they could lose everything. So if they find out that Susato and Ryu and Co all know about this collar, the existence of this collar, they could send people to kill them. So knowing about the collar and potentially being able to connect it to anything is in itself dangerous. So that's why Sholmes and Gregson hid it. And now we have to, I think we have to go to the Baskerville estate and see whoever lives there now, and then find some information from them. Or maybe it's abandoned or some shit, I don't know. We also have to find an abandoned warehouse with a freezer in it. I don't know if it has to be an abandoned warehouse. We just have to find a place with a fridge, because Gregson had to be chilled somewhere. So yeah, I think that is it for now. Please also do look at these little Nyasks that Cole drew for me a while ago. He's got no thoughts. Yeah, I think we're done there. Let's fade the music out. Thus concludes Tony's Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Wait, I did it. No, fuck. Hold on. That's it.